everybody, welcome to It's Janice, with me, your host, Janice McLean DeLoatch. This episode is going to focus on community resources that you didn't know about, so stay tuned. And we'll be back with our first guest, Kelly Jara, Executive Director for Harford Cable Network. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Hi everybody, welcome back to It's Janice, with me, your host, Janice McLean DeLoatch, and we are doing with Executive Director Kelly Jara with the Harford Cable Network. Hi Kelly.
Hi.
You know, you and I have had several conversations over the years off camera quite a bit. This is the first time we're actually getting to talk on camera.
I know. Thank you for the invite. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for allowing us to shoot in the studios today. It's beautiful here. Let's jump into it. What is public access in your role?
Sure. So we're blessed here in Harford County, and I really want viewers to understand that because we have Harford Cable Network here, and we are a PEG station, which stands for Public Access, Education, and Government. And we are the one and only PEG station for Harford County, so we're serving the entire community. So what does that mean? That means that we're here as a community resource for folks just like yourself who produce their own wonderful programming. It gives you a place to air it. If you look at the counties across Maryland, they're not all the same. Whether or not they have a PEG station or even multiple PEG stations is the decision of each individual county. So for example, I use Baltimore County as an example. They have a specific government channel, they have a specific education channel run by their public school system, and a specific community college channel, but they don't have a public access channel, a station that is available to the public to air their programming. So here in Harford County, we're one station, we serve all those needs, and when you turn us on, you'll see a variety of programming from shows that are given to us by the community, such as yours, to ones that we produce ourselves. So just a variety of meetings, sports, entertainment, events. We air a lot of different programming.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about what a PEG channel is, and again, it's public education and government channels that are mandated by local or state government for use in the community by people in the community. Would you just tell us a little bit about some of the benefits that HCN or Harford Cable Network offers to people in the community when they come through Harford Cable Network?
Yeah, absolutely. So first is just the access to the airtime. You can contact us at any point and say, hey, I'm a Harford County resident and I have this fantastic idea for a show, and we can give you instruction and guide you through the production process. Or you can contact us the way you did many years ago and say, I have a show, it's ready to roll, I just need the airtime, and we can air that for you. So that is, just a crucial part of what we do. But then there's another level to everything in terms of our support of the county overall. It's largely nonprofit oriented because we are non-commercial, so you can't buy our airtime and we can't promote for-profit businesses on the air. So because of that, we're geared specifically to the nonprofit world, and we have a community calendar, a bulletin board that airs on our channel for an hour and a half in the middle of the day, an hour and a half in the evening, and again overnight. And those messages for those events are self-submit on our website, and when they come in on our website, they go on air and they go on our website in our archives. And then our programming resources and the fact that we just touch so many organizations and folks in the community that want to see our programming and the diversity, I think.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought up diversity, so we're going to start there. Typically, there are diverse communities who don't know about HCN, and how are you getting that word out to those groups that don't know about it? And not just so much for diversity, but I'm always pushing for diversity because I feel like we don't have enough of that. And when I mean diverse, I mean all people, not specifically just black people. I mean, women, children, disabled people, vets, veterans, so I'm really want to make sure we cover all those communities. How do you get information out into the community to let them know you're available?
It's largely through our social media, I think, just kind of reiterating what our role is here. I think what folks need to understand with public access is that there are very small limitations on what we can't air. It can't be obscene, you know what I mean? It can't advertise a product or service, be for-profit oriented, but other than that, if you have a message, this is a way to get it across. And,
Right.
if you submit it to us, unless for some reason it doesn't meet our criteria, and that's listed on our website, we have to air it. So we try our best to get the message out largely through social media or opportunities like this, or if I
Right.
go to speak in the community as well.
So here's that, so this is called It's Janice, which is, as we talked about off camera, is more of a talk show format. So I get to talk about a lot of different topics. And one that I want to talk about, because I am an independent producer who is, I do produce my own programming, and oftentimes the funding is limited. How do producers or writers like myself find funding to have our programs air?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very good question. So I think the largest way that I've heard producers say that they acquire funding is through applying for grants.
Right.
Because there is funding out there for specific, topics, particularly if they're to a particular niche. You just have to search and see what would cover your
Right.
production costs. Now, you have to keep it then, obviously, to the content that is specific to the grant.
Right.
But I think grants is probably the largest way that it can be funded.
Now, can you talk a little bit about how Harford Cable Network is funded?
Sure. So we're part of Harford County government. I know we're on the campus of HCC, but we're actually not affiliated with them. We're part of Harford County government. We're an agency of the county council, and so they're the ones that grant us our budget every year. Every month, as a cable subscriber
That's
in
important to
Harford
know.
County, yeah.
I'm going to make note of that. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Every month, as a cable subscriber in Harford County, you write your check to Comcast, Armstrong, or Verizon,
Right.
and part of that bill is a cable franchise fee. That cable franchise fee ultimately comes back to the county on a yearly basis, and that's what funds us.
All right.
So, and then we also just recently, well, not recently, but about 5 years ago now, started a foundation so that we could raise funds, because we were unable to do that as a county agency. And so that's another way now that we're receiving funding, is through the foundation.
And how do people pour into your foundation or support your foundation so that you can support producers and writers like
absolutely.
me? How do people do that
Yeah,
and
so-
help you?
Sure. Our website is harfordcablefoundation.org. There's
Okay.
a donation button there. It explains who we are and what the foundation does, how it supports. And we're just starting with our first fundraiser coming up in December, on
Okay.
December the 14th. So we're
Good.
super excited about it.
Well, this is good timing
Yeah.
because we can tell people, please
Yeah.
send money.
Yeah.
This is important what we do. Please
Just
send
come out.
money.
It's a fun night. It's just an easy way to support
Okay.
us. So it's going to be Saturday, December 14th.
Okay.
At HCC's Chesapeake Theater. It's an evening with Emma Klein and Jeremiah Lloyd Harmon.
All right.
If you're not familiar with Emma and Jeremiah, they were just this past American Idol's season of American Idol. They were
Oh,
finalists.
wow, okay.
So Emma was top 40 and Jeremiah was top 10.
Hey.
We have a connection to Emma. She is a past host of one of our programs, Kids TV News.
Oh, wow.
And she's a John Carroll graduate. She's a
Okay.
local lady. Went on to school in Nashville, and then the American Idol exposure obviously has blown up her world. So reached out to her, and she loves us because she grew up here on
Yeah.
camera hosting a show. And I said, Emma, would you do this? And she said, absolutely. And what about bringing Jeremiah too? And he was gracious enough. He's from Catonsville and goes to Towson. They're both phenomenal vocalists.
Wow.
And so it's going to be just a special treat that night. There's
Okay.
a cocktail hour for the first hour, 7 to 8. There's an exclusive meet and greet with Emma and Jeremiah, so come and meet them in person, get your Instagram pics. And then they're both going to perform, and we'll have an intermission as well. Hors d'oeuvres, cash bar, and silent auction items.
What's the cost to attend?
$33 a ticket.
33. Well,
Yeah.
33. Okay. It's either 35 or 30, but all right, I got it. You're in between.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that's really great. And that's actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Do you have any people who've had programs on Harford Cable Network that you know of who have gone on to other success after launching here
Oh, wow.
on this network?
So, wow.
I was trying to look that up, and I was like stuck.
should have warned me. I could have done more research on that one.
Well, we'll come back to that
Well,
question.
I can't speak to a specific program, but I can speak to a specific person, if that counts
Okay.
as well. So way back when, I mean, I started here in '05, and this is pre-me.
Okay.
Christy Breslin was a HCC student next
Okay.
door. She came over here on an internship, and she started hosting. She helped develop one of our programs called Harford Magazine.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Christy has taken off professionally ever since. She's
Wow.
now currently the evening traffic reporter on WJZ. She
Okay.
continues to host our show, and she's really well known and loved in the community.
Right,
And has,
okay.
just really grown and had a lot of success in her personal on-air career. And she credits it to us and giving her that start. So,
Well, it is a launch pad
pretty
for a
much.
lot of people.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm like really great now, but I didn't always start out like that. I had a lot of moments that, so yeah.
Okay.
It was a launch pad. We'll leave it there. But congratulations to Christy Breslin
Yeah.
and Emma. What's her last name?
Emma Klein.
Emma Klein, and
Jeremiah Lloyd Harmon.
I would really love to follow up with them too, and just kind of follow what they're doing and see
Yeah,
how they do as well too.
absolutely.
So congratulations to all of those guys, and
Yeah.
so that's good. In the age of social media and twitting and tweeting and YouTubing and LinkedIn and Facebooking, how do PEG channels still stay alive?
So
Yeah.
don't think that we don't talk about this regularly.
Okay.
And actually,
Mhm.
I'm overseen by an advisory board, and that's who I meet with monthly. And a big part of what we did the last year and a half was revising our strategic plan for the next 5 years to really look at where are we going and how are we going to get there. And this really forced us to take a hard look at just what you're talking about. What are we doing? What are the other PEGs doing? We went down and visited one of the PEG channels in Montgomery County. Just tremendous, with a $2 million plus
Yes.
budget a year, and
Right.
seeing their facility and looking at
Okay.
what they do. But it's clear to us that eventually TV is just, we question if it's going to be there or what its role will play as time goes on. We live very much in an on-demand world, and if you want to be seen, you need to put yourself at that convenience of those who don't sit for hours in front of the TV anymore. They just want to grab that phone or that laptop and go, I want to see it, and pull it up. We understand that. So it's very much about making our programming accessible on demand. And so we are definitely have plans to do even more so. So I'm tickled to share that right now we are live streaming many of our events that we do with our production van when it's out in the community, like our games
Okay.
and our local events. We're live streaming them on our Facebook page.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. We recently, I won't date this, but we recently set up and live streamed the county's marching band competition that was held at Bel Air High School. Phenomenal
marching
feedback.
bands. I absolutely love it. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Uh-huh.
they have like one showcase a year, and I think this year it was students only. So you had the parents watching in who couldn't
Wow.
be there, and just the comments and the shares, and oh my gosh, and we didn't know that this was happening, and we could watch it. And so we know that that's the future.
So yeah, video on demand. So
Video on demand.
Yeah.
A
Mhm.
big part of how we're growing. So our programming can be found on our VOD page. So it's accessible anytime, anyway, as well as YouTube. So just getting it out there
Yeah.
so that it can be found and viewed.
We're
So
all twitting and tweeting and
Exactly.
YouTubing, and I still question, and this is just me being me, what happens with the cloud and the Twitters and the tweets and the YouTubes if they go down?
yeah, that's a good.
So anyway, I digress. We won't go down that
That's a
road.
whole nother topic.
Weird. But I'm glad that you're talking about live streaming, because I think you do reach another audience that you didn't have before, and
Absolutely.
and then a lot of people don't have cable, and they are looking at everything on their phones and their laptops, and
Yeah.
so I think that's really a good question.
Okay.
What's your favorite social media platform if you use it?
Facebook, hands down.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Oh wow. Oh wow, I have
Yeah.
too many. I like
I
some of
have.
the classics. I'm a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory original girl.
Okay.
I'm a Grease girl. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so love all the 80s classics as well.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Bowling or roller skating?
Bowling, hands down. I bowled for 10 years on a youth league.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Summer or winter?
Summer, hands down.
Okay. We agree on a lot. And if you could enhance one item about your PEG channel,
What would it be?
what would it be?
I think funding. I
Okay.
really, really do.
Yeah.
Of course, every business owner or business manager says the same thing. You never have enough. But we're such an invaluable resource. And so
Right.
that is also what spawned the thought, the concept, and the approval and creation of the foundation, so that we had that ability to fundraise. And just to reach out to the community and say, we're here. You know, all
And
the
that you
good
guys
we
could
do.
sponsor.
Absolutely.
And
We-
then what do you need to cover? Like, what would it go to cover? Just operations? Just-
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're making those decisions as we go along. When we first launched, it coincided with the year that we were upgrading the whole facility
Yeah.
to HD. So everything was dedicated to helping and contributing towards that. And so the biggest purchase that the foundation made was the equipment that allowed us to live stream our events on Facebook.
Okay.
And
okay.
so, yeah, and so moving forward, that's what it will do. We'll continue to contribute, probably largely to capital, but then we have some other plans in place too, that hopefully will allow us to maybe benefit the independent producers who are with
Absolutely.
us, and maybe
Especially-
help fund them.
Yeah, and it's really good. And and again, I'm not really tooting my own horn, but I kind of am. But my show used to focus solely on small business and entrepreneurship. A lot of people in the community who actually watched it on this network.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they definitely know that it works, and we've been doing it. And they should support my show as well as support you guys too. All right. Before we close, if people want to know more about you or learn more about the program, not more about you, but more about the program and what you guys offer here and how they can get involved, how do they do that?
Our website, I think,
Okay.
is just it's a great resource. It's harfordcable.org.
Okay. Kelly, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So thank you for watching this particular portion of the show. We're going to be back with more, but this has been Kelly Jara, who's the Executive Director for Harford Cable Network. Up next, tips and tricks that you can use to promote your business with Rachel Schmidt of Rush Rocks Promotions. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Hi, and we are back with more of It's Janice. With me, your host, Janice McLean DeLoatch. I'm joined with my second guest, Rachel Smith of Rush Rocks Promotions. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Tell me a little bit about Rush Rocks Promotions and why you started it.
Sure. Rush Rocks Promotions is a custom branded and promotional product service that I offer, and it's anything that you could anything you could think about having your logo on, as far as printed products, signage, apparel, you name it. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. What's the unique characteristic about your company?
I'd say one unique characteristic that stands out right away is that one way I differentiate from some of the larger promotional product companies is that I offer consultative services. You know, I genuinely care, and I try to put myself in my client's shoes. So I want them to love what I provide them, so that they're feeling confident, proud, and they want to hand it out. They want to show it off. And so if you upload something through one of those larger sites, it may have an error, or it might be pixelated, or it just may not represent you the way that you thought it would on the screen. So I try to help guide people as to what products are the best quality, what's going to last the longest, look the best, and fit in their price range. And then if they need a sample, which a lot of people, want to take advantage of that so that they can touch it, feel it, love it before
Right,
ordering in
yeah.
bulk. So, yeah.
Yeah, Rachel actually helped me do some really cool little tins, and they're just so cute. It was very affordable, and I actually got to see a sample, which is very unusual because that's kind of like really an annoyance to me. Like, if you want to sell me something, but you won't show me what it looks like before I buy thousands of them. And so I think that's really a good quality to have in your company. Now, in an age that seems very impersonalized and very digitized. How do you get people get noticed? How do you help them grow their brands?
Well, through digital is one way. I have a marketing and advertising background, which I think really is beneficial. It helps me already kind of have a step up. As far as, Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube channel. But outside of that, that's all just for people to kind of come to look, to research. But face-to-face and personal touch still, I think, goes further. It really does. And especially because the products that I'm showing people or making for people, they're all custom. So they get that personalized sense of, pride, and they have that feeling of, oh, this is mine.
Right.
So you can only do so much of that through pictures. It's different when you hand someone something.
Absolutely, I agree. So, I want to know, what do you think is the most popular promotional item? I know what I think it is, but I want to hear it from you. Tell me what you think.
Well, I would say one of the most frequently asked or purchased is tumblers. I get so many people who want drinkware, and it's not like it's a new thing, but mugs and travel water cups, even custom water bottles. That's always something people ask about. On the West Coast, not so much East Coast, but like straws. Apparently that's one of the industry's biggest thing. It's eco-friendly. But on the higher scale, backpacks are really coming back, like canvas backpacks that you could have embroidered, or also cell phone wireless chargers.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So, I mean, they're a little bit higher cost than straws, but it depends on the industry and, what you'd want to have customized and hand out.
Wow, I didn't know that people were doing that now. What would you consider your biggest business challenge, just for your own business?
I hope it doesn't sound too petty, but sometimes one of the biggest challenges is trying to explain to people that buying in bulk truly is the smarter, more efficient way to buy promotional items. Sometimes, and I know it all depends on their budget, but it's I like to compare it to going grocery shopping at Sam's Club versus CVS. It's really that different.
All right.
If you buy the minimum, you're going to spend so much more. So I try to recommend or guide people to buy things that will have a long shelf life, and they can keep giving out and giving out and giving out, just for their own budgetary reasons.
Yeah, like the 10s were perfect for me.
Yeah.
So if you guys come to a segment that we're taping on Tuesday called Girl Talk, you'll get one of them. Okay. Let's talk about trends in your industry.
Okay. It's not a new trend per se, but it's something that still is going on and even, I guess, blossoming, is apparel, graphic tees, and stickers. I know that sounds like, okay, stickers, but the younger generation, they still load their laptops and their iPads and their binders with stuff. And people, the more colorful and creative and artistic they are, the more likely they are to wear it or to put it on things as decorative pieces. And that's a really inexpensive way to get eyeballs. So you wouldn't necessarily think that, but that stickers are coming back. And another one that's trending, I'd say, is embroidered beanies or like scarves. A lot of cute hats and stuff. You can put your logo right there, and it's sort of like a walking billboard. And you're fashionable,
Oh, wow,
So.
beanies. Oh, my gosh. Okay. So now, when I talk to people about a logo, people seem to think that a logo is a brand. Can you explain the difference?
Well, a logo is just the visual of your brand, but your brand is your story. Your brand is your whole, full encompassing mission.
Okay.
The logo has to has to correlate with it. But the logo itself is just a small visual image. It's like a briefing. But your brand should have a story behind
Okay.
it.
All right. So if somebody walked up to you right now and they said, Rachel, here's my logo. I need you to tell my story. What 3 products would you recommend to them just to get started so that people, instant brand recognizability. Is that a word? Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Well, there'd be a lot of factors I'd have to take into consideration. Just like, I wouldn't recommend for like someone who's a local hair shop or a pizza shop doesn't have the same type of budget as like a large corporate place.
Okay.
So it really depends on the industry. But if they were just starting out, I would try to find something that correlates with their industry. So if they're like a spa, they could do chapsticks, lotions, candles, something that kind of correlates with what they're doing. If they're a mechanic, they might want to do, like the ice scrapers or scented car air fresheners or like those little cup things that you put in the cup holder so it doesn't spill and ruin. Or even steering wheel things. So, I mean, it kind of, I try to cater it to whatever it may be. So, I mean, like financial institutions, I would say, why don't you hand out some cute little piggy banks or like a money management card?
We won't tell them. They need to call you for the rest of that, those ideas. But those are really good ideas.
I try to get things that correlates to their business specifically. If it's healthcare, maybe they'd want, like a little emergency Band-Aid alcohol kit or an ice pack or something. So it ties in.
You have really, really, really good ideas. If people want to find out more about your business and want to talk to you about getting some quotes and pricing, how do they do that?
Well, you can visit me at rushrockspromotions.com, and it has my email on there as well as my cell, which is my work and cell, never leaves my side. But I do have Instagram, Facebook, and I do check them regularly, so I'm pretty easy to access.
Okay. Now, before we go, I want to talk to you. We're going to do some trivia.
Okay.
Your questions are,
Uh-oh.
favorite board game?
Board game? What century are we in?
Well, I know. But just like the beanies, board games are making a resurgence. See, you're like one of those millennial kind of people, so.
Yeah. I guess Candyland with my kid. That's the only board game I play.
All right. Favorite dessert? Is that easier?
Yeah, apple crisp.
Okay.
Some a la mode on there, some ice cream, some warm.
Are you a salad girl?
No.
Okay, we're gonna skip that one.
Nope.
Favorite movie?
Oh. Ironically, The Interview. I love that movie. May not be PG, but I love that movie.
Okay.
With
Is that the one that?
and,
Oh, that's the one. Okay, the South Korean, North Korean.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay.
I love that movie.
All right. Favorite color?
Pink.
I knew that.
Barbie pink.
I was right about that
Barbie
one.
pink.
Summer or winter?
Oh, summer, I guess.
Okay. And lastly, hot coffee or iced coffee?
Both. All coffee. Just let it
All
rain coffee on me.
All right. Rachel, oh my gosh, you're such a delight.
Oh,
and I really
thank
enjoy
you.
talking to you all the time. And thank you so much for helping me with the
You're
promo
welcome.
products that you did for me. And again, if you guys come to Girl Talk on October the 29th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Harford Community College, you'll get a chance to see it. In the meanwhile, if you'd like to contact Rachel, her website is
www.rushrockspromo.com.
all right. And I just want to say thank you to MCE for sending the information to let me know that you do offer loan products for entrepreneurs that are starting out. And thank you to Harford Cable Network for allowing us to shoot in your space today. We will be back with our final guest. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We are back with more of It's Janice. That's with me, your host, Janice McLean DeLoatch. I just want to say thank you to Rachel Schmidt, who is with Rush Rocks Promotions. Thank you so much for the beautiful little tins that she did for me. So you guys, if you come to Girl Talk, which is a talk that I'm hosting on October the 29th at Harford Community College from 6:30 to 8:30, you'll actually get them. They'll be in the bag. They'll be part of my promotional giveaways. So we hope to see you there. So now I'm joined by Michelle Osteria from Cafe Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hello, Janice.
And you and I are just going to have a conversation
That's great.
about you starting your business and just you have a really interesting background.
Yeah.
So let's start with your name and your company, and let's tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I'm Michelle Osteria, chef and owner of Cafe Michelle. Been in food service for 25 years. I've wanted to own my own business since I was 8 years old. It's been a passion of mine to do. And over the years, I've worked my way up from being a baker to a pastry chef to food service director. And, you know, it was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to own my own business. But you get children and everything kind of gets in the way. And you just say to yourself, okay, what are you going to It's terrible to say get in the way, but it just works that way. You just decide, okay, well, when am I going to do it? And last year I decided that it was time, you know, start my own business.
Okay. What was the catalyst for it being last year?
I was about to be downsized. I knew I was about to be downsized, and I had like that aha moment where I had to say to myself, okay, so what exactly am I going to do? Am I going to continue in this vein and continue working for someone else and all the skills that I have developed over the years, give it to somebody else? Or am I going to take a chance and step out on faith and try to open my own business? And I realized I had to step out of that box, that comfort zone, and take a chance and do it. And that's what I did.
So let's talk about how Cafe Michelle actually materialized. What was your journey like from concept and aha moment to the doors actually opening and people walking in and paying you money for that product that you provide?
Well, the concept has been there for over 20-something years. Like, I actually had the name for over 20 years. That's what I wanted to do. The concept originally was that I wanted some place that you could sit down and eat, but I also knew that I might not find a place that could do that. But I wanted to have sandwiches and salads and soups and different kind of drinks and so forth, and that was my original goal. And then after I realized that I wanted to try to do that, I said to myself, I could do the business plan. So I actually, started the business plan, but the problem that was causing me was the financial page. I've always worked with P&L statements and so forth, and whether they were looking on a business statements was just a lot more that I knew. So I reached out to the Small Development Center in Hartford County, which was actually on the campus of Harford Community College.
All right, now let's go and clarify P&L, profit and loss statement. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you went to the Small Business Development Center at Harford Community College.
I called and I was connected to Ryan DeGallo. And through him, I was able to get a business plan template that basically what banks would look at. And it just allowed me to get all my figures and everything done. He gave me that template. I transferred everything over, stayed up till 1 o'clock at night, and I put together a 30-page business plan. And I submitted it to him the next morning. And he had come back to me saying, except for a word that was spelt wrong, it was the best business plan he had seen in quite some time.
And how long was it?
About 35, 40 pages.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You did that. Well, then you deserve the money. You definitely deserve the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
All right.
yeah, because it had all of the things that I had worked on my master's degree. So it was almost like a thesis. That's how I looked at it, and it rolled off my head.
Wow, intelligent. You're intelligent, master's degree. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So, now you mentioned Ryan DeGallo. That's not a name that I know at the Small Business Development Center, and I have to admit, I've kind of been a friend and a foe to the Small Business Development Centers and the SBA because I feel like there's a disconnect between entrepreneurs and business people that come to them for help and those that they actually really help. I feel like a lot of people leave there and there's no history about what happened with these people and where they go and whether they were successful, whether they gave up. And often the funding, they don't get it. Because it seems that nobody wants to give you seed money, but everybody wants to give you money when you've got money or $50,000.
Yes.
And to hear, that you got this help, it means a lot, and I'm really glad to
Right.
hear that. So tell me a little bit more about how they helped you and just, what happened after that.
Well, not to just say that I didn't get a lot of no's, because I did. The stepping stone is your business plan, to make sure that you have something that you are going to look for, something that you yourself can look at and say, okay, this is what my business is going to be about. So once I did that, reaching out to get the money, that was a lot of no's. I cashed in my 401k. It was only about $10,000 after I got all the taxes taken out, and I went around to a lot of different places. I went to the bank, tried to get an SPA loan. I got no. I went to Baltimore City for the part of the gambling. You're supposed to be able to have money available to you because as an entrepreneur. I got no.
Yeah, I keep hearing about that lottery fund that people
That
are
lottery
wondering
fund-
where it went to.
Oh,
So,
no,
okay.
it's there, but it's not there for someone as small as me. And one of the things that I definitely did start to get a little bit of anger about, honestly, was that a lot of the no's that I was getting was because I myself did not have enough seed money, which just seemed a little odd to me, because I thought the reasoning why you had something like the lottery fund and things of that nature, I can understand a bank. But when you have like a lottery fund, and the reason why you have it down there was that some of the proceeds were going to help start up businesses, and you get a no because, which is true, food service, 9 out of 10, the business will fail. And that is a given.
Okay.
But the point is trying to get more business owners in the community. Small business owners and entrepreneurs helps give money back into the community. So to get a no because you are a food service, it's disheartening. And as many no's as I got, I just kept pushing through. I just kept pushing through because I had no choice. It was either
Right.
my business or go back and work for someone else.
Right. And that's not always we're not trying to deter people from working for other people. That's not what I'm saying either. But I feel like you're right. You do have to push through. And even on this journey of me doing this TV program for years, if it had not been for the volunteers and people like Michael and Scott and Rachel, even Harford Cable Network, people who volunteered and supported me, donated their time. Some of them donated money. Some of them donated services. This program wouldn't be on the air. And the strange thing is, a lot of people watch this program. They know that I do this program. And yet they do not support me the way that they could. And I'm a little bit angered about that, because you've got all these talking programs where people are talking about absolutely nothing. And here you have me pulling these resources together and sharing it with the community, and there's no seed money, which I feel is really important, particularly if you're in the cities. It doesn't matter which state, Philadelphia, Delaware, Maryland, Florida. The cities have the majority of the mom and pop stores and startup businesses, and there's no seed money. So how do you get to level B if you can't get through level A? And I'm talking about something as simple as $500 to print business cards, or pay a cell phone bill, or maybe buy a printer. There's so many things that you can do with just $500. When I think about, and I'm sorry, I know I'm ranting on a little bit here, but when I think about the money, and I won't name the entities that people waste, you could give an entrepreneur startup $300 just to see if they're right. They might be Facebook. They might be Michelle Osteria and Michelle Cafe Michelle, sorry. Yeah, it could go wrong, but look at all the people who've got millions of dollars that aren't doing anything positive with it at all. And then you have stories like yours and mine and Rachel and all the other entrepreneurs and small business startups out there who just need that break. Here's my commercial and my pitch to all the banks, to all the investment bankers. There are other projects out there other than technology, pharmacy, and medical. There's beauty, there's fashion, there's music. And I know some people don't think those industries are important. So those industries are important, particularly if you're somebody who likes arts and you like fashion, and you like to look at beautiful things, and you like to go to movies, and you like to listen to music. And then there's all the innovators and the product creators and the manufacturers. You know, who's helping them? There are some that are getting a lot of money, and then there are some on the other end that are getting absolutely no money. So, help. Start with seed money, help fund these entrepreneurs and startups from the ground up. Okay, I digress. Thank you for indulging me on that. Now, you got a loan. Eventually, you were able to get your loan.
Through
right?
Aberdeen,
Okay.
yes. I worked with Bonnie Barisi.
Through Aberdeen?
Through Aberdeen, but I was
Okay.
referred by Ryan Tagala. What Ryan did is, if I had a question or a concern, Ryan basically would just source me out. He was just a wealth of information.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Oh, yes.
I really am.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He would source. I said, well, I have a question. How do I find somebody who can do the window display? And Ryan was like, okay, go to this person. But when
Yeah.
it came down to getting the seed money, he had sourced me to Capital Funding's a place in Baltimore City, which basically that was like a major loan that had a lot of. Basically, I was going to have to like sell my firstborn to do, and that's one thing. When you're a startup business, sometimes you can get too hungry, and you'll go for it. But you have to think long term. Like, okay, can you pay that back?
Right.
So I was introduced to Bonnie Barisi, and she
Yeah,
helped
Bonnie.
me. Yes,
Okay.
and Bonnie's been wonderful. And through
Yes.
her department, I was able to get a loan, a $26,000 loan.
Okay.
And that helped me. That helped me.
Alright.
And then also meeting with Stephanie Spector and Phyllis Grosvenor, who are a city planning office in Aberdeen,
Okay.
and they took the time. They showed me around, and I was able to find a location. But again, it was just connecting with people, and like I, mentioned, there were a lot of no's. It is not for the faint of heart. If you want to try to own your own business, you will get those no's, but
Right.
you're going to have to either push through them, or they'll break you, and you can go two different roads. And I decided to just keep pushing through. So even though you could get those no's, there is somebody out there eventually that will give you a yes.
Okay. All right, so where are you now with Cafe Michelle? And how can people help support you? What's the foot traffic like?
Well, where I am in Aberdeen, I'm in downtown Aberdeen.
Where are you? What's your
And
address?
I'm at 6 North Park Street in
Downtown.
Aberdeen, in
Okay.
downtown.
Okay.
I'm close to Comcast. I don't have a lot of foot traffic. Where I am, I'm kind of tucked in. The space that I'm renting, my landlord Art Hilton, who's been a wonderful landlord. It's been so many different places, and it was empty for so long at times that people just literally will walk past. But now the support really is just from my social media, my Facebook page,
Okay.
my Instagram page.
You have a podcast too, right?
And I do have. I just
Okay.
recently had a podcast. That's one of the things. On the days that it was slow, I Googled. How does a new startup business find free marketing? And one of those ways is become an expert. I've been in the food service for 25 years. So I reached out to radio Inspired News, Inspired News Radio, and I reached out and I spoke to Jennifer via email, and she just asked me a bunch of questions, and it was like a 3-page questionnaire. I answered them. I was interviewed by Scott Sullivan, which was a great interview, and basically he said to me at the end of it, he said, well, how did we find you? And I said, no, I found you. I Googled how to promote myself.
Yeah, so you definitely have that entrepreneurial spirit, and I know that you're out there and you are definitely making it happen. If people could help you, say you have a wish list and you could wish for one thing, what would you ask people to do to help support your business?
Since I know that it's not going to be the walk traffic, it's not going to be, that's just only, I'd say 5% of where my revenue is going to come. It's going to have to be 95% coming from functions, big functions, catering, box lunches, and things of that nature that will make Cafe Michelle successful. So going to my Facebook page, which is the Cafe Michelle, going to my Instagram page, seeing the pictures of the food that I have produced and taking pictures of, that's what's going to really help support me as small business.
Right. And as a minority woman, you might want to reach out to some of the churches in the community. This is not a disparity thing where we're trying to keep anybody else out, but typically you can get starts a little bit faster there. The other thing, but there are, a lot of larger churches in the community that support everybody, regardless of race or being a woman or a male. What about those make-a-meal kits? Have you ever thought about doing something like that where you could put something together and people can buy meals that you've already... Because I hate trying to figure out how to make things go together. So that would be really cool for me. And I just want to congratulate you on doing that business plan thing, because I hate it. I absolutely hate doing it. In fact, somebody really needs to start a business just on doing business plans. And, and again, here's me going... there are agencies and organizations that help you write business plans, or they show you how to do them, but they're not showing us how to do them really well, because a lot of the time people aren't getting funded from those same business plans that we're submitting. So it's great to tell me how and tell me I need one, but I want to find somebody. We need to hire you to write the business plans too. So, all right, so we talked about your wish list. Now, if there's anything else you'd like to say before we close, or we could do your trivia first. Which one would you like?
Let's do trivia.
Okay, let's do trivia. Okay, now you can't look at my list now. Okay, so paperback or hardback?
Ooh, hardback.
Okay, ice cream or Italian ice?
Ice cream.
Spring or fall?
Spring.
Okay, favorite food?
Italian.
Wow, okay.
Italian.
Favorite TV show?
Anything on BritBox or Acorn, but it would have to probably be EastEnders. It's an English soap opera.
Okay, wow.
That's my favorite show.
You remind me so much of me.
That was like guilty pleasure.
I like these people are like, well, I've never even heard of that, because I look at stuff that people, but it's good. So I know what BritBox is too.
I love BritBox.
I do,
and I love Acorn.
Okay.
Those are my favorites.
All right. So if people want to find out more about you, reach out to you. How do they do that?
You can go to my website, www.thecafemichelle.com. From my website, you can see my link for my Facebook, my link for my Instagram, and also just stop by, 6 North Park Street in Aberdeen. Stop by and say hello. I'm open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Saturdays 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I've already launched, went live with pre-orders for the holidays.
Okay. Well, Michelle, Osteria, it's been my pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming in just to chat with me.
Appreciate it.
Michelle and I are going to pick this conversation up more on Tuesday next week, October the 29th at Harford Community College. We're doing a show. I'm doing a show called Girl Talk, where I'm hosting 100 women, and we're just talking. So you can come out and meet Michelle there, and she can tell you a little bit more about her business, and you can find out more about a lot of the women in that room, but you got to be there. So thank you, Michelle. Thank you guys for watching It's Janice. We'll be back. You've been watching It's Janice. Thank you for watching the show, and we hope to see you on the next episode. In the meanwhile, if you want to follow Janice and what It's Janice is doing, go to www.janice.media. www.janice.media. Upcoming, our next segment will focus on Girl Talk, women getting together and talking about everything. You might want to check that out. In the meanwhile, thank you for watching.